Hello everybody. Hopefully you can hear me and everything's working okay. If you don't know, Huddy is terrible with tech. Huddy is a La Sombra IRL and hates tech. Not a glasswalker. That's not me. That's not who I am. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And the music that I'm playing in the background isn't too loud. That was a problem with the demo and I have it turned way, way down. I don't even know if you can hear it. I hope you can. Oh goodness. And as my mic is picking up me way too loud as well. That's fun for me. Yes, hello everybody. I am on chapter 2 of the Book of Hungry Names, and I'm loving it a lot because Kyle is an absolutely great writer. And I think I need to do a little recap of the first chapter. I played the first chapter through twice, once in the demo and obviously once yesterday. No La Sombra Bane right now. That's fantastic. I stress every time I have to do any sort of streaming, even private or on World of Darkness. So in chapter 1, we met our Garu, who is just a cub, is just a baby, a puppy, if you will. I called her Sierra, just because I felt like it. We picked white fur for her, which I feel like is important because we wanted some white howlers representation here. And of course we met our pack, who are horrible to us and are all old werewolves or elder werewolves, Black Tarn, Clay, and Scarper. And they're mean and terrible and horrible to us. And something's very, very wrong with Clay. He ate the dead meat or meat of a baned horse, a horse thing. And now he's dying, probably. Not really sure what's happening to him, but it's not good, whatever it is. And we decided that we needed to leave because Stormcat, who found us when we were trying to maneuver through the Umbra, told us that we needed to leave, that something happened to their cairn in the east and needs our help, and that there's nothing left for us with the old werewolves. And we listened to them eventually, not right away, but eventually. And we decided to hitchhike from Buffalo, which is all the way almost as far as you can go west in New York State, all the way to Hampton, Massachusetts, which is in Western Mass. So basically we hitchhiked the breadth of New York State, which is dangerous. I don't know why we did that, but we were a werewolf. I mean, who's going to step up to us, honestly? So does eating a Bane horse count as food poisoning? I mean, this seems like a little bit more serious than food poisoning, but who knows? Honestly, this is the werewolf version of food poisoning. Fomori poisoning, let's call it. And so yeah, so now we're on chapter 2. We're in Massachusetts. We're in Hampton, the area where the cairn is supposedly used to be. It's been destroyed from something that we don't know yet. Soul food poisoning, exactly. So let's begin, shall we? The rage is in you, making you itch, making you hurt. It feels like there's wolf fur and dirty hair between your skin and your flesh. And every time you move, it slides and scratches around, and you just want to dig your claws into your skin and open it up and make the itching stop. Delicious. A vegetarian cafe below street level, away from the freezing wind, serves you a hot bowl of lentil soup and some coffee. Fuel for your work here. I'm so used to playing vampire that I love in Werewolf, of course in Hunter too, but Hunter you're pretty much just a person. There's some edges and stuff you can take to make you a little bit more special, but you're a werewolf and you have this amazing power at your disposal, but also you're just like a regular person. You need to eat and drink and worry about like temperature and stuff. I love that. I don't know, it's just so cool to me. Surrounded by pre-Raphaelite prints in gilded frames, bookshelves heavy with modernist literature, and early morning students drinking smoothies and opening their laptops, all the trappings of a well-to-do college town. You count out your last few bills, then dig around for change. The dead horseman's fortune in 20s has dwindled to less than $40. I'm surprised you're able to hold on to that much in this economy. Before you can heal Clay and restore your pack, you have to consider the 3 necessities of modern life: food, shelter, and data. You also need to consider the wolf. This sort of urban, rural borderland sheltered by hills and rivers is perfect for Garu. And werewolves don't react well to intruders. On the other hand, maybe someone here can tell you more about what happened here. Let's make bad decisions. I think something that I tried to establish is that even though I'm basically raised by these assholes, I don't want to be like them, right? So I think I still need to care about Clay. I feel like I still need to care about Clay, like Huddy doesn't. Huddy is not a fan of Clay at all, but I'm gonna pick that one. I need to get right to work on the investigation. I need to heal Clay, and I don't expect other Garu to help. We're in this alone at the moment. We have to think of it like that. We're a lone wolf, if you will. You linger over your coffee and consider what you know. Even though the evidence you gathered after destroying the Bane pointed east, roughly to this location, you don't know much more than that, and you hesitate to wander around the woods in February hoping you'll stumble upon something. You need either a base of operations from which to conduct an investigation or to make contact with local Garu. I don't like human civilization, but I need a home base, and for that I need a job. I want a job! I don't like the idea of stumbling around half-starved in the woods. Let's consider jobs and apartments. I don't know which tribes live here, but I should show them respect with a formal introduction. If other werewolves know about the Bane, I need their help. I look for other Garu. I want a job. I want a job so bad. Hello, welcome in. I'm gonna pick, I don't like human civilization, but I need a home base, and for that I need a job. I want a job. I want to be a werewolf with a job. Normally you'd never bother to wear out shoe leather on a job hunt since no one gets jobs that way anymore. But you also have an investigation to conduct, and you've learned to follow your nose. And since you don't have a phone, a laptop, or much time, you can't spend all day on Indeed trolling the job listings. You need to get up in someone's face without scaring them to death. I mean, you could scare someone into giving you a job, I'm sure. Liu, welcome in. The downtown area has a mini mall. Oh, I guess that is how you spell mini mall. That totally took me out of it. Mini mall with a bookstore, some fad diet food markets and restaurants, and lots of vaguely exotic knick-knack shops. You hit every single one, and no one is hiring. Not get out you creep not hiring, just fully loaded with college students and underemployed graduates desperate for paying work. But an entire morning spent talking with retail clerks, baristas, and tired postdocs gives you a few leads on where to find work. I might be wrong. I'm from Massachusetts, but I'm not from Western Mass. I'm from as Eastern Mass, or I'm from South Boston. In the city proper. I think Northampton is where Amherst is, but I could, or I know there's more than one Amherst campus, but I think there's an Amherst campus there. But I could be dead wrong about that. But I'm totally not sure. This one is way too real for me. This is too real for a lot of people. This is just what makes Kyle such a really great writer. I felt the same way playing Night Road. Like, there was just certain scenes, especially the romance stuff with Night Road, where I was just like, this is too real, and I'm living. Or unliving, as the case may be. For a werewolf, jobs are a question of balancing your rage with the demands of employment. Customer-facing work means you'll have to keep your rage in check, but even if you work stocking cans, you need to hold it together around bosses and coworkers. You'll also need a job with flexible hours, of course, and people who are willing to ignore lots of weird shit. And you don't have a car. This won't be easy. Ooh, I know. Ooh, I saw this one immediately and I'm like, this is the one. Dangerous outdoor work tends to pay well and lets me work alone. I look for roofing, logging, anything like that. I mean, yeah. I mean, barista, restaurant work, garage, or repair shop, groundskeeping would also be okay. I am a living weapon and I need to keep my skills honed. I look for security work. All right, I'm not that full of myself, but that's a great line. I am a living weapon. I think dangerous outdoor work. I mean, but the thing is, it's weird. Logging, roofing, okay, but logging, that seems very, very anti-werewolf. The logging industry. But working in the you know what? You got to think like a werewolf. Working in the logging industry means like you're like have your hand on the pulse of like any Pentex or, you know, worm stuff going on. So you have your hand on the pulse there. Are employers allowed to give less hazard pay to creatures who can shrug off the kind of damage they would put mortal employees in the hospital? You know what? If they knew, if there wasn't the, you know, the veil or the masquerade, if they knew, they totally would. They totally would. Without hesitation. Werewolves can do dangerous work without worrying too much or needing good health insurance. Everyone you talk to at the mall seems to have a brother or an uncle or a boyfriend who works in roofing or as an arborist, and they stay busy even through the winter. Here in Germany, we still call them tree surgeons. like literally. The literal translation. But as you investigate, the problem becomes obvious. Every single roofing and tree cutting company expects you to have a driver's license, right, and your own vehicle. You have neither. You fight your way past secretaries to a few owners to see if there's any wiggle room there, but though they're sympathetic, they can't make exceptions. Maybe you can try again if you ever buy a truck. That's a clue. That's a hint for later. Hi, ugly bad good. Hello. Become a lumberjack and do it really, really badly to frustrate the worm. That's what I was thinking, but they won't let me if I don't have a truck. So that's not fair. All right, let's try groundskeeping. Do you have to have a truck? I mean, you have to like ride the little lorry thing for groundskeeping, but do you need a license for that? Groundskeeping is good for, what is the polite way to say this? Creepy loners with few ties to friends or family. Even a Garu consumed by her rage won't draw too much attention. Maybe it would. If I start freaking out, especially if it's like on a golf course or something. But it's also physically demanding. You'd have to be strong and quick to do these jobs well. And it's not all mindless, untrained labor. Snow removal and general maintenance around sensitive equipment requires finesse. The best way to hunt for this sort of thing is online, so you walk to the nearest library. Forbes Library is a sprawling Romanesque building, a 19th century castle located on a hill across from Smith College. Cast iron railings flank a manicured walkway now dusted with snow that takes you inside. The interior is spacious, quiet, and cool, but not cold. Once you have a library card, a brief self-tour familiarizes you with the circulation desk, the freely available computers, and the media library. You boot up the first open computer. Most places require a driver's license, of course, but there's an assisted care facility on the bus line in the suburbs that responds to your email right away. Hey. Oh, we can't freak out around the old people. That would be horrible. It's just before lunchtime by the time your bus reaches Gorski Manor, the facility in question. It's an ugly and decrepit place, once a stately Victorian estate, now a crumbling heap that serves as both an elderly care facility and a halfway home for recovering addicts. Wow, that's two very different people to care for, your patrons, if you will. The decaying mansion has bad vibes, but the haunted-looking assistant director you meet says that all you need to do is pass a drug test and never be alone with a client. Oh boy. You won't have regular hours either, as long as you get the work done, snow blowing and defrosting in the winter, weed whacking and landscaping in the summer. You'll get paid. You won't get paid well, the rate is almost insulting, but it's enough for you to live on for now. Demanding physical work and probably not honest work, there's something wrong about this place, something crooked, but it's a job. You take the assistant director's card and promise to call him. Decaying Mansion is a leech's den 100%. I know! How fun would it be to kill a leech? That sounds like a really fun activity. This sounds like a reputable employer. Yep, I want to take it. I want to take it. I don't need a car. And I am ready. I mean, it's either a leech or it's like a Fomor den, right? It's either, or the Black Spiral Dancers are just, you know, hitting this place up. They got their labyrinthian spiral here, doing weird stuff. I'm down, whatever. Either way, I'm into it. There's a reason I don't play on storyteller mode, because I want to make the bad decisions. You start to walk toward the bus stop, then watch as the bus leaves without you, and that makes up your mind. You turn right back around and head for the reception desk. A nurse takes pity on you, and it takes you a few minutes to explain that you're not a patient. You're applying for a job. She doesn't seem to believe you, but she agrees to find the assistant director, and he appears a few minutes later. Oh, I'm so sorry if you can hear. My neighbor is drilling. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. It's very loud for me. After some hedging, Mr. Weiss, he gives no first name, leads you into a cramped office with an antique computer the color of bad teeth. He bids you to sit, then takes from a manila envelope not a contract or a timesheet, but a map of the facilities. He unfolds the yellowing paper like a pirate map and spends several minutes going over, first, the areas where you will spend most of your time, and second, the areas where you are absolutely forbidden to enter. We have many patients, Mr. Weiss explains, his tone bored rather than didactic. In advanced stages of dementia and others who are trying to overcome their addictions, they must not be interrupted under any circumstances. Sus. There's something not right about this place, but just as you're starting to reconsider, Mr. Weiss says, since your work here will not require regular hours, we would not want to waste your time with payment schedules, timesheets, that sort of thing. If you prefer, we can pay cash twice per month for your services. Done. Sold. Ah, not exactly above board, is it? You wonder what Gorski Manor is doing that would encourage under-the-table payments. Then you realize that you don't need to care, you're just the groundskeeper, and you desperately need money. I mean, werewolves really shouldn't be filing taxes, should they? That seems like an easy way to get the SI on you. That'll be fine, you say. Mr. Weiss hands you a daily checklist of winter tasks and encourages you to start first thing tomorrow. You're doing good, guys. We're doing it. Excuse me, a spiral staircase? I'm down. I'm down to die to the Black Spiral Dancers. I'm so down. Yay, semi-gainfully employed. Getting this whole creepy sus job while in my run I worked for a stoner bike owner. I mean, you did the smart thing. Jerry, that's the difference, is you do the smart thing, I do the dumb thing. That's what we're here for. Huddy's here to make the dumb decisions. Even as you've conducted your investigation, you've kept your eyes open for places to sleep. No one you've spoken to has offered you a place to crash for the night, and you still haven't found any other werewolves. So it's time for shelter. You've been in scarier towns than this one, but you also know how fast shelters fill up when it's cold, and you know that sometimes the staff can be worse than the residents. You adopt a suitably humble and deferential posture, but not one so listless that you look like you're nodding or tranquilized, and approach the interfaith cot shelter you saw earlier today. It's located in a building that looks like a Greek temple, currently wrapped in orange construction netting. Downstairs, past a half-disassembled stair lift for wheelchairs, a woman sits on her phone behind a desk. She tells you to be quiet when you ask her if this is the shelter. Wow. I hope she doesn't work for any sort of hotlines that people need for their mental health. Finally, the woman finishes whatever she's doing and says, "This is the overflow shelter," pronouncing each symbol an overflow like you've never heard of the concept before. You need to go to the main shelter on Aldrich and check there first. Where's that, you ask? There's a plastic holder for brochures in the desk and another bolted to the wall, but they're both empty. Oh my god! She pulls up Google Maps on her phone. Aldrich. You barely get to look at the street before she yanks her phone back and sends you on your way. She seems nice. One of the vaguely obnoxious coffee shop. I mean, there were obviously correct decisions to make there, and I ignored those entirely. Being a Garo without a pack must hurt on some... Yeah, absolutely. You must... I mean, there is a concept of lone wolf, right? But I think that's... I think that can lead to, like, maybe Harano more so than Hoglosk in terms of Werewolf the Apocalypse, to losing, you know, faith and losing the wolf, in essence. It's a long hike along unshoveled sidewalks to Aldrich Street. The lack of streetlights makes it hard to find your way. But after a few false starts and a car blasting you with freezing slush, you reach your destination. The Aldrich Street shelter is a big Italianate house pushed back from the street and gone to seed, an irregular black heap against the purple sky. What is with all these buildings being creepy? You open the main door and step into a stinking, brightly lit room full of restless bodies. Close the fucking door! My god, it's like I'm home again. A ruddy-faced man yells before you finish opening it. You close the door and spot a thin, middle-aged white guy in an oatmeal sweater talking to an old and agitated black woman. The facility director points to a tablet in his hands, and the woman storms past you, furious, and stands in the doorway, glaring as if daring someone to make eye contact. "We're full up," the director tells you, not looking up from his tablet. "Try Senta Street." This place is barely half full. Maybe I can find some angle that will let me score a cot. I probably have, like, no dots in charisma. And I'm gonna be like, "Hey, let me in." The doctor gives you a withering look. "All cots will be accounted for by lights out, I'm sorry," he says. "The Senta Street facility serves our overflow annex. Just fill out the forms here and bring them to Marie." Marie, you ask? It should be obvious from context that I'm discussing the care director at Center Street, he says. He peels a form off a nearby table and hands it to you. Better do as he says, girl, the scowling woman at the door says, or you'll end up at Langton. Langton, you ask? I'm like dying here. I would discourage you from staying there, the director says, not really paying attention. Violence and theft are endemic at facilities not affiliated with our network. But they got cots, the woman says. She leaves in a blast of cold air. Close the door, the same man as last time yells. Oh, I could, this is horrible. And I'm probably going to do it because it's a bad decision. The way you mentioned storytellers going for the bad decisions reminds me of the time one of my players in my Werewolf Chronicle jumped a pack of black spiral dancers for threatening her touchstones. This player is also someone experienced with ST, so the mogul moves really scared. Yep, that's absolutely true. I have only played in one Chronicle my entire career in World of Darkness as a player, and I made all the dumb decisions. And my storyteller loved it. I'm sure. I didn't ask them if they loved it, but I'm sure they did. Yep. This is a bad decision. I do not approve of this decision, IRL, but I'm going to do it because I want to see just to see what happens. I want to see what happens. There must be something I can do for a cot. Something you might like. Wink, wink. I have to pick it just to see. The guy looks you up and down, then smiles. Maybe we can talk about temporary employment opportunities in my office. Sorry, I've already been employed by a creepy hospice. Thank you. He leads you to a cramped downstairs office on the far side of the house, then walks around you in a full circle like he's inspecting stock at a slave auction. Disgusting. But before you do anything, you have to extract some concessions. At least a cot. So, the director says, you're new in town? You running away? He adjusts his belt. Dear God. Problem with my folks, you say. In the reflection of a locked, can I kill him? A curio shelf, you look haunted and insane and dirty. This guy has bad taste. So are you sure there's room for me? I'm sure we can make room, he says. He deserves to be eaten by a werewolf. He's got lots of very small teeth. Maybe if you... The door bangs open. Rick, we can't find any... A woman stares from the director to you, then back to the director. Her eyes narrow, then she looks at you again and asks, Honey, are you looking for a place to sleep? Just a cot, ma'am, you say. Why don't you and I see if we can't find where those batteries got off to, huh? The woman says, I love her. You follow her out of the office as she casts one last furious glance at the director. She sits you down on a cot in the corner. Just try and stay here until lights out, okay? She says. She pulls a Snickers bar out of her floral print muumuu and hands it to you. Sorry about that. There's not going to be any talk, though, is there? No, ma'am, you say, immediately unwrapping and eating the candy bar. Good girl, she says. I mean, she is covering up for a... She is holding up the status quo, but also she helped us, so I can't hate her about it. A roundabout solution to your problems, but it worked. You scan the crowd for trouble, but people are pretty quiet, and you've got your back to the wall. You close your eyes. Oh, God. That was good. Good. The worst decisions are the best decisions. I agree. I have great fun making terrible decisions. Oof, I don't know why small teeth works as a descriptor here, but it does. It's a great insult. It's a great insult. I'm going to remember that and use it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. She did save him from issues down the road, yeah. I love how hungry the Garu are in this game. Seafood, inhale food. I mean, it's a mood. It's a vibe. Yeah, it all went according to plan, guys. This is exactly how I expected it to shake out. You dream that you cannot cry, and that when the tears come, they are hair, and the hair droops down your face, burning your eyes. And then when you stumble blind into the kitchen and take scissors to cut the hair away, the hair is full of nerve endings, and the pain is blinding, and the blood spills from the filaments of hair tumbling out of your eyes. As if compelled, you keep cutting and keep weeping, and the hair keeps growing, endlessly blinding and agonizing. Dang. It's cold when you wake up, like winter is creeping through the walls to caress your lips and neck. You shake off the scratchy blanket. Great Gaia, the smell. Waffles. You eat until you physically can't contain another waffle. But you know you have work in this town, so you tighten your shell jacket and step out into the ice wind. The director, Rick, watches you with quiet hatred as you leave. Sucks to suck, guy. Whatever. You shouldn't come back here. Don't tell me what to do, Kyle. As determination wars with concern about your future prospects, your thoughts turn to tomorrow night and not freezing to death. What if you're caught out here again? Though you don't have any formal survival training, you think back to what your pack taught you shortly after your first change. Yeah, this is a hell of a trip for the poor Garu, yeah. Kyle pulls no punches, and we love it. Ooh, Scarper was always deadly serious. No. I think I hate, for some reason, I think I hate Scarper the most. I think Scarper is like the way he would mock you constantly, like mock your tone of voice, because, I don't know, that bothered me the most for some reason. Blacktarn was the nicest to us, so what did she teach us? Blacktarn knew that Garu and spirits can point you towards safety if you respected their ways. Let's give it a shot, why not? She was literally, I mean, she had her own issues going on as a Silverfang, but she was literally the only one who was not completely awful to us. The world, Blacktarn used to say, was a patchwork, a badly assembled thing, scarred and mutilated. Take one wrong step off of a busy thoroughfare and you'd find yourself in an illegal dumping ground, a secret glade, or a monster's nest. The people of the map don't walk like that. They move along roads and corridors. They instinctively fear stepping off the map into the land of monsters. Here be monsters! You don't. You cut through alleys and forgotten gardens, deliberately violating property boundaries. Forcing... It's bringing me back to Pokemon Go ways. Forcing yourself to ignore the way people ought to move, and among the homeless encampments, abandoned vehicles, and fields touched only by snow, you find shelter. Shipping containers, sugar shacks, empty cellars with the doors unlocked. A bit of dumpster diving turns up a fleece blanket that you wrap into a tight bundle. You can survive a night, maybe two, but not more. Not in a New England winter. It's true. Nor'easters are terrible. That is a fact. Tarn was just cray. Yeah, I know, but she was nice. Scarper is the bitchiest of the old pack. That's what it was. Yeah, it really bothered me now that I'm thinking back to it. I mean, Clay was also a jerk, but Scarper's just hurt more for some reason. Director would probably taste nasty anyway. I mean, we're not supposed to eat humans, right? The litany says don't eat humans, but I think I'd have to make an exception for him. People of the map. I know. I love that terminology. It's fantastic. This is all giving, you know, as a storyteller at heart and a storyteller brain, this is all giving me really a lot of inspiration for running a chronicle myself. Your first day at work is mostly orientation. The good news is that Ernesto, the elderly groundskeeper, wants you to work the morning shifts for the first week. You'll be up before sunrise, but it means that you'll have the afternoons free to explore the town. Fun! I don't have any choice but to risk interacting with other Garu. Yep. Since they all expect me to look for werewolves. Casting Ron Perlman is never a bad idea. Yeah, Clay more... You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I didn't picture Clay as Clay from Sons of Anarchy, but now I am. And that's fair, because very similar personalities, especially towards the end of the show. There are certain courtesies expected even of a cub, and it's better to make contact with the local werewolves on your own terms than to stumble into them. Who knows what tribes even dwell out here? Tradition dictates that you perform the Howl of Introduction. The Howl is traditionally performed by a pack's Galliard, the auspice known for its bold presence and talent for leadership in times of peace. But Scarper is far away. Oh, we picked Ragabash, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that in my recap. If you'd prefer to be more discreet, you could look for glyphs. Some Garu mark their territory with a unique system of signs and scratches. Though werewolves understand the primal tongue almost instinctively, you only know a handful of Garu glyphs. Nonetheless, with enough patience, you might be able to track the marks and symbols to a cairn or some other werewolf community. But glyphs are old-fashioned, and not all Garu bother with them anymore. A smart young werewolf could go online and search for evidence of Garu, anything from news articles about animal attacks to deliberate hints and riddles left by urban wolves to help facilitate contact. Also, many city wolves move among an urban population's indignant and criminal communities. If you are able to stay cool around them, they might help you. Stay cool. Oh, man. Sons of Anarchy is weirdly great werewolf inspo. That is correct. I agree with you. Ooh, werewolf motorcycle pack. Ooh, the ideas that you're giving me. Okay. Okay, so we could change into the lupus form to do Howl of Introductions. We could look for Garu glyphs. Could go online at the library and look for Garu activity online, or we could act cool and casual around the local transplant population. If there's one thing I've learned, is that my character is cool. So, that's what we're gonna do, obviously, is we're gonna go hang out with the cool people, because the cool people know where everyone is. Yep. That's the one. The one that is the most, like, esoteric of the four. The one that seems the hardest. That's the one. We are cool, no moon. Hey there, fellow werewolves. That's us. As the hive is to the bee, and the dam is to the beaver, so is the bike path to the crust punk. It's easy to find the main bike path, but though you probably have less money in your shell jacket than most of these kids, your new clothes mark you out. We're so in, like Flynn. You bounce from group to group, trying to act casual and strike up conversations, but the crust punks are sullen and hostile. You have no more luck at the park next to the bus stop or the steps of the vape shop. Oh god, not even the vape people like us. Next to the old church, and you're starting to feel like someone is watching you. Finally, you spot an old hippie with animal liberation and vegan anarchism buttons on his ragged coat down at the skate park. The hippie tells you to fuck off, but the only kid skating in this horrible weather witnesses your conversation. Not even the hippies like us? Oh god, we're not cool. We think we have to admit that to ourselves. They mentioned someone named Roscoe who puts on punk and metal shows. The kid hasn't seen Roscoe in a while, but they tell you that the last time they saw him, he was bumming money outside of a place called GRC Media. You follow the kid's directions and find yourself in the parking lot of some kind of environmental advocacy group. Never a dumb charisma. I think I did. I did, like I said, I'm not playing on storyteller mode, so I don't know if I did or not, and I haven't looked at my sheet at all. Can I look at my sheet if I'm not playing on, can I look at my sheet? I can. I have 1 dot in charisma. I was so right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Look at my dexterity, and my wits are high. No persuasion, no charisma. It's really good, guys. It's really good. This is how we want it. This is exactly what we're going for. Here. So we're gonna pick only the charisma ones from now on. GRC Media Group is located in a glossy new building in the boxy and metallic gentrification chic style, across the street from a garage junkyard ringed with concertina wire. You circle the building to make sure security isn't heavy. Nothing. The door swishes silently open as you approach, silently closed as you take in the tasteful atrium, the minimalist decor. A Formica table holds brochures and engraved business cards. The one that says Daphne Clear, Chief of Operations, catches your eye because there's a faint raised design on it. You think it's Spider, patron spirit of the Glasswalker tribe. Or maybe it's just a spider, or a crab. You could be way off base here. Or you could be standing downstairs from a corporate werewolf. Or corporate wolf. Can I help you? A secretary in a purple fleece is sitting at a white plastic desk beneath a huge flat screen monitor that's cycling through nature scenes. Her tone and expression say that that some kind of bum, possibly a drug addict, just wandered into her tasteful atrium. That's me. You can help by watching your tone. No, let's not say that. Best to learn about this place first. I'm just picking up some brochures. Sierra Car Crash of the No Moon. That's my name. Like, I wish I could change my name to exactly that. My deed name to that. How did we dress? Tactical Cyberwolf? Yeah, we picked the practical tactical gear. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right, Bardic. You flip through the nearest brochure. JRC Media Group, providing sustainability communication solutions to a global marketplace. JRC Media Group's unrivaled content distribution platforms offer your organization. Are you here with an appointment, you bum? The secretary says, a trace of contemptuous amusement in her voice. You hold up the brochure to make it clear why you're here. Developing purpose-driven communications with JRC Media Group, a global audience of stakeholders requires... There's some whispering at the desk. When you look up again, a man is striding towards you. Not a security guard, just a big guy in a too small button-down shirt, face and fists red and sweaty. You're gonna have to get out of here, lady. He meets your gaze and winces only a little, barely affected by your rage. You might be able to bluster your way through to Miss Clear, but you're not sure a glasswalker would approve of you twisting this man's head off and flinging it at the TV screen. Bah! Why not? That sounds fun. Okay. It won't be easy, but I should be able to persuade them to let me pass. No, we can't. We actually can't do that at all. I have 2 dots in manipulation. I wish I didn't look at my sheet because now I'm worrying too much about this. Let's try and sneak in. I don't think I looked at what my stealth was, or if I did, I didn't notice. So let's do that. I don't want a confrontation. I back off. Then I sneak back in. I'm definitely clever enough to find a way inside. I like how confident I am knowing I'm probably not. Ooh, achievement. Lose the wolf. Reach rage 0 and lose access to your powers. Damn. Whoopsies. You have temporarily lost the wolf. Without rage, you cannot shapeshift or benefit from your gifts. As you leave, you hear the big guy explaining to the secretary, yeah, they come up along the bike trail or whatever. They panhandle here, then go back down to buy drugs. You've already circled the building once, and you noticed a side door protected by a cheap-looking electronic code lock. There are no cameras, though people might see you through the window. Try the code? Why not? That's our motto. Why not? As you head up the steps, your first thoughts is to try GRC Media, GRCM 4726. That seems unlikely, so your next step will be to try birth years. Most security personnel are in their 30s or 40s, so you can start with 1980 and work up from there. If you try 4726 and the door opens. Awfully sloppy for a glasswalker. I don't know, do we know a lot of glasswalkers besides Scarper? Scarper seems sloppy as hell. Personally. You pass a break room, then head up the stairs for the executive offices. You don't have any problem finding Daphne Clear's office. Closed, locked, big frosted window reveals that it's empty unless she's hiding under her desk. If you're looking for Daphne, she had to meet Elton, the book guy. This office worker has apparently mistaken you for an honest citizen. And he's smiling, so you smile back. No teeth. Good, good. Do you know when she'll be back? You ask. The office worker makes a show of checking his Apple Watch. Oh, I hate him already. If she's working on another independent research project, probably not until tomorrow. Sorry. He wanders away, playing with his watch. You don't want to go through the main atrium again, so you retrace your steps. Now you have names and information. Daphne Clear, Elton, GRC Media. You can do some real research now. And all it cost me was my wolf, goddammit. It's starting to get cold and you're getting frustrated. You're missing something that will tell you exactly what's going on in this town, and you can't figure out what it is. You patrol up and down the streets, eyes scanning faces, glancing up at windows. When you see a narrow, covered alley, you cut through it toward a parking lot. A man is waiting for you in the shadows. You've come a long way, he says, just to die here. Damn. Damn it. Great pick. I mean, honor to die to you, handsome sir. Whoops. Achievement unlocked. And it's gone. Yeah. Is Scarborough Bone Gnawer? I couldn't remember if he's Bone Gnawer or Glasswalker. I could not remember. So we wouldn't know any Glasswalkers. So why are you saying that you know stuff? Because apparently my werewolf, Sierra, is overly confident in her ability to do absolutely anything. And she is terrible at everything. Love that for me. The alley is so dark that even your sensitive eyes take a moment to adjust. The man standing in front of the stained bricks is a few years older than you, with a dark, serious face and short black hair. He's dressed in tattered but elegant clothes, a black frock coat with mismatched buttons, polished black boots, and a dark frayed V-neck sweater. Leather gloves protrude from the breast pocket of his coat. The young man has the air of a scholar, especially with the oversized leather book clutched in his hand, but his knuckles are crisscrossed with pale scars. Though he looks dangerous, he makes no move to attack. My name is Elton Day, he says. Miss Clear told me you had come. Hi, Elton. Nice to meet you. You got $10? Please stop. Please. Okay, let's introduce ourselves and not be crazy. Let's try not being crazy for 1 sec. Just 1 second. I am Sierra of Clay's Pack in northern New York. A bane attacked us and I tracked it here. Wait a second. See, I'm already making mistakes. I'm just assuming he's a werewolf. I am just assuming he's a werewolf. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, I'm just assuming he's a werewolf, so I'm not going. So I'm actually going to ask him for $10 because that sounds funny. So she was hiding under the desk. Yeah. Yep, I'm just gonna ask him for $10 because I'm being coy. That's my reasoning for doing so. 10? Are you daft? I'm hungry, you say with a shrug. Where again did you say you were from? He asks. He doesn't... Okay, I can't do a British accent. He sounds like he's from around here. Accent is British, not the fancy kind of British, despite his air of genteel poverty. I didn't, but I'm from northern New York. We had a problem and I came here. To this sorry place, Elton says with a nod. And it's not going well, is it? I know you're talking to a Shadow Lord. Oh, God. My, you've brought some mistakes today, haven't you? Well, I don't know if I can help you with whatever problem you brought here, but I can make tea. Follow. I want to be like you, Elton. Show me how. Let me be cool like you. He pushes past you to a narrow door and takes out an elaborate brass key. Why are you dressed like Dracula? Oh, let's just lean into being an awkward dork who's clumsy and terrible. Let's just lean into it. Why are you dressed like Dracula? Because I'm a Theurge, Elton says, opening the outer door, and not entirely destitute, unlike you. The real question is, why are you dressed like you moderate the Everyday Carry forum on Reddit? Burn? That's a sick burn, Elton. Nice one. The stairs from the street to Elton's apartment are narrow and steep. Keep talking to me like that and I'm going to fall in love with you. The urge to walk hand over foot is almost overwhelming. And though it's only late afternoon, there's no light except from a crooked witch window at your back. The stairs bow in the middle as if 1,000 years of monks have climbed these steps, though the building can't be more than 2 centuries old. In the darkness, Elton inserts his key again, the key again, without hesitation, turns it easily, and then puts his shoulder into the warped wood of the ancient door until it pops open. You step into a living room full of books and immediately bang your knee on a coffee table, right on brand for me, covered in heaps of printouts. Books are everywhere at every level, noticeably at wolf level in several places. The smell is books and dust and old rugs and brass and pewter, old cigarette smoke burned into the walls, and black coffee. You see the cups left everywhere, balanced in the oddest places, and heavy dinners not always cleaned up right away. You pick your way past iron candle holders, covered in melted wax. Plates decorated with blue pastoral scenes, stained red and black. fat leather-bound notebooks full of handwritten scrawl, and nearly bang your head on a low candelabra strung with electric lights. Sit wherever, Elton says, sweeping his hand across a dozen surfaces, none suitable for sitting. Brother. Guy has chosen, everybody. It's me. I think my werewolf would be perfect for a werewolf the apocalypse, What We Do in the Shadows-esque sitcom. I don't know about you guys. So I've never actually been to high tea. Where do I put my doily? I just want to hear him read me again. I just want him to keep being mean to me because I'm into it. High tea actually refers to tea taken as an evening meal at what you'd call a supper table. It is not synonymous with high class. That's not a joke, Eldon. We're doing banter here. I need the banter from you or I'm going to lose interest. So I'm not getting those little sandwiches. I can reheat half a Thai burrito. What the hell is a Thai burrito? Eldon offers, if I can find it. Why don't you tell me what drove you out of upstate New York? Oh, no, I'm less interested in him. He didn't keep up the banter with me. Wait a minute. Does this Shadow Lord Theurge know that Stormcat I met? I cover the basics, then get to the Stormcat's appearance. Oh yeah! Stormcat, why don't you talk to me anymore? I miss you. I've never heard of a Thai burrito, but I in general can't really eat Thai food, or I have very rarely eaten Thai food because I'm allergic to coconut, and I found a lot of that, a lot of their food has some coconut oil or coconut milk or some sort of form of coconut in it. You describe your pep work for hunting the Bane, the fight itself, and the horrible aftermath of Clay's appetite for horseflesh. But only when you talk about Black Tarn and the Stormcat does Elton set his teacup down and steeple his fingers, offering you his undivided attention. I know the Stormcat. She and the Falcon of Doors were the guardian spirits who guarded our cairn. I thought she died. He looks momentarily pained. I wonder if the Stormcat actually thought you could help Clay. Is that even what you want, Sierra? Yes, I do. I do actually want to help Clay. I do actually want... You know what I would love? And I have no idea where the story goes because I'm playing this totally blind. I would love if, like, I could go... My main character syndrome is showing. If I could roll up in there and, like, fix Clay and just be like, and now I'm leaving you. Boom. Your savior has returned. Suck on that. I don't see it shaking out that way, but in my mind, this is where Sierra's head is at. Yes, he raised me, so obviously I want to save him. Why wouldn't I? They're vegan burritos, basically lots of peanut stuff, though. Peanuts I'm fine with, but peanut sauce I can't have because it's made with coconut milk. I discovered a very long time ago. And when the law against cannibalism conflicted with the law about respecting your elders, what did you do? Elton says, don't answer that. I get enough amateur philosophizing at the bookstore. Speaking of philosophy, I was at GRC Media, the environmental consulting company. What do you know about Daphne Clear? You did mention her, remember? Daphne Clear wasn't originally one of us, Elton says. Her husband, Linus Harrowman, was one of our Silverfangs, though. Actually, ex-husband. They were split up by then. Doesn't matter now that he's dead, I guess. She runs an environmental news and media company, but mostly she watches the thing in the woods. The thing that turned our cairn into a nightmare. And to a lesser extent, she deals with minor problems that a bit of data manipulation can solve. People talking about weird dog attacks, that kind of thing. I don't have many good things to say about glasswalkers, but they're good researchers. Daphne told me about you maybe 10 minutes after you got into town, actually. But it's not like she can do anything against the answering tiger. The answering tiger, you ask? What's that, a spirit? A bane? Of what use are names, the Shadow Lord says. That final night, God, it was only 3 years ago, but it feels like 1,000. We realized too late that we had already lost. The tiger had let us believe our own propaganda. That's all the tiger was, all the tiger is, a lie shaped like what you want to believe. We lied to ourselves, and it came to us and blinded us. We turned on each other, Shadow Lord against Silverfang, human against Garu, family against family. The answering tiger had servants, of course, Banes like the one you battled, Fomori, werewolf sworn to the worm. But the weapon it used to strike us down was us. What more can be said? A gust of icy wind rattles the windows. But that's enough about the world's occult horrors. What about the mundane ones? You need a place to stay. You didn't want to say anything, but I'll be right back, Elton says, rising and stepping into the kitchen. That's badass. That description of what happened to the Cairn is badass. And I love that idea. Honestly. Cannibalism? I don't know. I did not, I don't know what he was referring to there. Clay ate the horse. I have no idea what he's referring to there, honestly. So he shouldn't spoiler that Clay was actually Cain the whole time. I knew it. Actually, I could read the subtext. I got that. Can't pull the wool over these eyes. I really don't know what the cannibalism comment was for. That might have. I did not even try and eat the horse. So, or anyone. I might have eaten my parents. I might have. I know I killed my parents, but I don't know if I ate them. I have no idea. The Shadow Lord returns after less than a minute. Do you have a job? The Shadow Lord asks. I'm a groundskeeper at an old folks' home, you say. You don't waste time, the Shadow Lord says. He disappears into the kitchen for a moment, then comes back with a business card that reads Al Goultier Realty. The card has contact information for Mr. Goultier, and on the back, in unusually fancy penmanship, a Garu glyph you don't recognize. I am doing you a favor, the Shadow Lord says. If you can show him that card, Mr. Goultier will permit you to stay in one of his units starting immediately, as long as you have a job. Now it's getting late and I've neglected my studies. I may have lost Broadbrook and quite a bit more. Right, that's the name of the cairn, Broadbrook. But I still have my library. It's a consolation. Broadbrook, you ask. The cairn, Elton says, our old sacred site, and more than that, Broad Brook sprawled across hundreds of acres and sheltered the Garu and the 3 families here for generations, in life and in death. I haven't been there since the others died. He meets your eyes, and for a second you think he's going to offer to join you in exploring the site. But then Elton just lapses into brooding silence. You rise, careful not to knock any books to the ground. I respect your determination, Elton says, rising. Call that number I gave you, and for what it's worth, I hope the spirits of Gaia watch over you. He follows you back down the tall, narrow steps, then closes the downstairs door, leaving you alone in a wind-blown parking lot across from the covered alley. The temperature plunges, but you've made plans this time. You retrieve some free newspapers, cut through a garden that hasn't been touched in decades, hop a chain-link fence, and approach an abandoned ranch house across from a boarded-up daycare. Despite previous signs of occupancy, no one has squatted here for weeks. You dig around under the porch and retrieve some dry wood, then kick out a board, crawl inside, and use the newspapers to start a small fire. The air is smoky and the fire doesn't offer much warmth, but you're able to curl up in your stained fleece and get a few hours of sleep. Ba-boo! Ooh. Oh yeah, that's right. And I picked that I wanted to be a Shadow Lord. I forgot that too. Did I mention that? I think I might have mentioned it and then forgot it again. Oh, hi, Outstar. Hello. Litany says no humans or wolves. You can eat horse. Yeah, I know. So I don't know why he made the cannibalism comment. I have no idea what that comment was about. Shadow Lord Ragabash? I mean, I think so. I think it'd be fun. That's the one that you dream of the tribes. What if the Shadow Lords reject you? What if after beholding their patron spirit, you find yourself spiritually incompatible with them? Who else might you join? Ooh. Again, this is this weird thing that I keep coming back to. And I know Black Tarn is crazy. I know, like, everyone's like, she cray-cray. I know that. But I liked her because she was the only one of the 3 of our pack, the elder werewolves, who was not horrible to us and kind of can be excused a little bit of her behavior, right? So I think just from that alone, my character would also be like, well, the Silverfangs can't be all bad. I mean, yeah, it might be bad for, you know, my well, being in the future, but Black Tarn was, you know, a baddie at one point. Yeah, so I'm going to say Silverfangs as well. Shade Lords rejecting you seems plausible. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't reject me? I'm the worst werewolf ever. I have no charisma. Could you imagine if it'd be a Silverfang with no charisma? Let's do that. That sounds amazing. Once the Silverfangs would have spit in your eye for thinking you could join them. Who are you, pup? Who was your great-grandfather? They might have killed you for your presumption. But countless defeats brought on by their insular arrogance have humbled the Silverfangs. They have been brought low only to rise again. A new generation of warrior kings and scholar queens has set out to rebuild the Garu nation with fang and crown, with spirit wisdom and lunar fire, aided by their godlike patron spirit, the invincible falcon. Or so you've been told. You've never actually met a Silverfang. You're not even sure any are still around. Scarper said the last Silverfang died in the 90s somewhere in Russia. He said no one mourned his passing. Black Tarn was a Silverfang, was she not? Am I losing it? Scarper is the worst Galliard. Yeah. Tarn is a Black Fury? I swear they called her Silverfang. I swear they did. Whoopsies. Well, Silverfangs would also be cool, I guess. Really? Tarn is a Black Fury? Huh. Well, that was my mistake. And it sort of plays in line that Sierra would forget that. That Sierra would get those two mixed up. Because I'm sorry, Clay and Scarper and Black Tarn did the worst possible education between the three of them for this baby werewolf. They did the worst job they could possibly have done. I seriously thought it was Silverfang. I'm so sorry. They put them... Also, Huddy's the best person for doing this stream as well. The next morning, dawn's cold and bright. You feel half frozen and 3/4 dead, but at least you woke up. However, this cold is so bone deep that you can't even rely on your werewolf regeneration to heal you. Oh, they say she's as crazy as a Silverfang. Well, that's probably where I got that mixed up. At least they taught you not to humans. Yeah, well, you know, everybody gets one. They can't be all horrible. They have to at least do one thing correct, like statistically. Your first day of work, that's more than orientation. Suddenly hungry, you remember the smell of sandwiches under plastic wrap at Gorski Manor. And you ought to get to work. You hike up to the ancient and decrepit manor house, retrieve one of 7 bowls of chicken soup, destined for the addiction recovery ward. Ah, I love chicken soup. And check your task list on the break room whiteboard. Snow clearing, spot checks for structural damage, as if this place isn't ready to fall down at any moment, and some minor repair work. You're no engineer, but all the heating and ventilation equipment you're expected to maintain comes with 1, instructions, and 2, a number to call if anything requires professional expertise to fix. You work your way through the checklist, shoveling, snowblowing, scraping, and performing other hard and demanding tasks. It's tiring, but only in the way honest labor is tiring. You'll need to be careful on the roof, but you think you can manage this workload, especially if you can swipe the occasional sandwich or bowl of soup. Weird place though, rancid vibes. You're careful never to approach the restricted areas of the facility. I called the number on the card Elton gave me so I have a place to stay. That seems like the most pertinent thing to be doing. I really don't want to stay in a dumpster again. Or try and find another shelter in this place. Let's do that. It's time to put a roof over your head. Since you don't have a phone, you go to the bagel place on Main Street near Elton's apartment and ask to use their phone. The call connects immediately. Al Goultier. Hi, I spoke with my friend Elton, you know, Elton John, sorry, about an available unit. You got a job, kid? I work as a groundskeeper at Gorski Manor. Jesus Christ, kid, I didn't ask how your mother met your father. Shut up! Okay, Al. Just get your supervisor to indicate that you're gainfully employed. I need it for insurance purposes. And bring the card from Mr. Day and come to, hey, Todd, what do we have? Muttering from the other end of the line, then Al Goultier reads off an address that's half-hour away on foot. Can you handle those two things? He snaps. Are you talking to me or Todd? He's hung up. Classic. Classic Sierra. You're already sick You're already sick of the walk up to Gorski Manor. You can't decide if you want a phone or a bike, or if you want a phone or a bike more as you trudge through the woods once again to avoid the busy streets. You get there by 10 a.m. The nurse on duty tells you that Mr. Weiss won't be in until afternoon, so you devote a few hours to your job. There are walkways to salt, snow to knock off the roof, and a cage to install around a thermostat so the guests stop fiddling with it. You're just putting the cage on when Mr. Weiss appears, skulking like a pervert with warrants down the dirty carpeted hallway. You explain what you need and his pale eyes narrow, like you're trying to trick him, but he signs what you've written without a word. Then he just stares at you as you put your tools away and get out of there. The days are getting lighter, but the sky is slate gray, the air bitter when you reach the address Mr. Gaultier gave you. As if by magic, one step takes you from a truck-choked commercial avenue into the snowy woods where a decaying gambrel squats among skeletal black trees. God, Kyle's too smart for me. This big words, $10 words. In summer, the foliage will hide it completely from the commercial street in one direction and the farmlands in the other. Only the brand new pickup idling in the driveway hints that the cottage is something other than a ruin. The truck door bangs open and a short, fat man jumps out. Mr. Gaultier. Hey you. Yeah, you cutie. Are you Elton's friend? I'm his fiance. We're looking for a honeymoon hovel. This looks perfect. Stop. Yes, I am Elton's cute friend. Please. A sticker iron for suspending slaughtered animals. Nice. This is where I want to stay. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, I'm Elton's cute friend. Please. Please, because I actually might like Elton and I don't want that word to get back to him that I'm being a creep. Because I feel like I give off creepy vibes. He doesn't say anything for a moment. He just looks you up and down as if he can see anything exciting under your shell jacket and crust of road dirt. Finally, where's your thing? It's under my jacket, sir. He scans your document that says, you still owe me at the end of the month for your time here. First and last month gets rolled into your next 3 payments. Let's get inside for the rest of the paperwork. Mr. Gaultier wears a pork pie hat, really, to hide his baldness, and a checkered coat. His movements are twitchy and anxious, like he's expecting the feds to jump out of the bushes at any moment. He talks on a rapid-fire ramble about how hard he'll kick your ass if you damage his property. He has a kind of ska Danny DeVito vibe, or if the butler and the prisoner did poppers. Jesus Christ. Inside, his 2 sons are yelling at each other about a drill one of them dropped. They stop yelling to check you out when you step into the living room. Their eyes cold and appraising. The living room is trashed like raccoons used to hold secret illegal boxing matches here. It's also freezing. Where's the heat, you ask? Seems like a pertinent question in New England in February. Girl, I'll keep you warm. One of the sons says. He winks at you and the other pushes him. We're working on it, Mr. Gaultier says. But look, these old houses need heat, you say. Listen, you whiny bitch, Mr. Gaultier says. I'm doing a favor for that. For Elton. You owe me, not the other way around. I forced myself to be polite. No, let's not do that. I'm not sure I appreciate your attitude, sir. No. I'm not going to start screaming yet, but get the heat on. Now. No. I'm going to fix it myself. I blow past the Gaultiers and look around for a way to fix this problem. Yeah, I'll take shit into my own hands. So basically, he's every landlord, yeah. I'll fix your heating problem. Maybe if I can, I will have to pay less rent. You brush past Mr. Gaultier's younger son, Todd, as he makes excuses and examine the little house, trying to figure out why the heat doesn't work. Of course, this place has a lot of problems. Though the electricity works and only the living room is trashed, the house's timbers are warped and the stonework is crumbling. It's also small and badly laid out. 2 rooms upstairs, a kitchen and a living room downstairs with a fireplace and mismatched furniture. The bathroom is bare concrete and chipped porcelain. It looks like a place for Victorian doctors to hose down mental patients. You could give me a million scenarios and I don't know if that exact thought would ever cross my mind. What is wrong with Sierra? She needs help, guys. The water doesn't flow so much as ooze out the pipes. But the heat is the real problem. The propane tank is full, the fan turns. And that's sort of the extent of your understanding. Maybe you could dig around and learn more, but you're not sure. Yeah, this ain't getting fixed today, Mr. Gaultier says. Pack it in, boys. We'll send someone out. I don't know, Friday-ish? The wind howls across the farmland, cutting through the warped timbers of the little cabin. Fix the heat now. I am willing to make explicit threats and try to break up to 3 bones to get what I want. I'm willing to flirt and flatter to get what I want. No, I'm not doing that again. I know my way around mechanical problems. I can figure out what's wrong with the heat. I don't think I do know my way around mechanical problems, honestly. Literally, it says that's the extent of my knowledge. I'm not getting into a confrontation here. Fine, just get it fixed as soon as you can. No, fix the heat. Oh, if I do that, am I going to get kicked out? I might. That would be funny. She-werewolf. But it worked out well last time. I know, but I can't risk that again. Also, it's gross. It's gross. And we're saving ourselves for the moment for Mr. If Elton can like get back to his sick burn Reddit insults, I'm willing to you know, romance him. If that's even, I don't even know if that's an option. I have no idea. But right now that's, you know, like he's cute and that's fine. So I'm going to say fix the heat now. See if it gets me kicked out. This might ruin everything with Elton. And if it does, then we move on to the next one. Fix the heat now. Hey, bitch, the older brother says, grabbing your arm. You can't talk to my dad that way. You stare into his eyes, and when he flinches, you shove him into the freezing wall. Fix the heat, you say. Now. And I thought you were a sweet girl, Mr. Gaultier says as you dig your elbow into his son's throat. But he doesn't move towards you, and he keeps his hands where you can see them. Todd, why don't you call someone to get out here this afternoon? You let go of the other brother. We'll have it fixed by this evening, Mr. Gaultier says, trying to keep his tone level as you turn and glare at him. Is that all right? That's great, Mr. Gaultier, you say, flashing a sharp-toothed smile. I'd like to sign my lease agreement now. This mostly looks like a pretty standard lease for a mixed-use building, except there's no line for the names of the occupants. So you just write occupants plural, in case someone needs to crash here. They all glare venomously at you as you write working heat into your lease agreement, then sign it. You make sure to get Mr. Gaultier's signature. That was fun. That was fun. Elton is older than me? That matters. That doesn't matter. One Riz means it's also a catastrophe. Yeah, we're not going to say any more about why that doesn't matter. You spend part of the afternoon cleaning the trash living room, bagging everything the Gaultiers didn't take with them. The cabin is furnished with ancient dusty antiques from Scarlet Letter times. Hester Prynne, no. Complete with a rocking chair in front of the blackened fireplace, but there's nothing except the furniture. No food, no coffee maker, not a single bent fork or sliver of soap. To your surprise, a heating company van trundles down your unpaved road before the sun sets. The technician doesn't say anything or make eye contact, but he replaces half the components of your furnace, leaving it a weird mishmash of rusted metal and chubby primary-colored new plastic. Once the van leaves and you're sure the heat works, you finally take a shower. The flow is weaker than an old man's afternoon piss, but the water is hot. You don't have any towel, so you dry off with your ass against the kitchen's heat vent. Home sweet home. Your thoughts are a blur as you head back to your cabin with a few items you took from the trash outside Gorski Manor to make the place more livable. Some plates and cheap silverware and old blanket trash bags. You turn up the heat, permitting yourself that little luxury, then fall asleep. Up early for Gorski Manor, chiseling frozen shit out of a bathroom that lost heat overnight, causing the pipes to explode. Ernesto has a special frozen shit chisel that he lets you use as long as you promise to return it. Thanks, Ernesto. Appreciate it. Very, yeah. Very first apartment vibes, yeah. You handle that while he fixes the heat, and by noon, it's like a tropical sewer in the bathroom. Oh, you switch from the chisel to a mop and bucket. How you manage to choke down a bologna sandwich afterwards, you don't know. A warm place to sleep for the night means that your bones aren't aching anymore. Shift and regenerate. No, I'm all right. I investigate the actual location of Broadbrook. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. You walk to Forbes Library, excuse me, where you can search online and also look at physical maps. The nearest bend of Broadbrook itself is north of the library, but the forest around it stretches miles and miles to the north and west, not ending until somewhere in Canada when the trees give way to tundra, probably. There are parts of that forest that have never seen the people of the map, you're sure. Miles of land still ruled by North America's oldest spirits. You could conduct your initial research here from the comfort of the circulation desk or a library computer. Both physical and online maps might reveal evidence of a settlement which would let you head toward the cairn. But not everything is online. Instead of poking around on the computer, you could head out early and scout on foot. Patience and survival training would help you turn up evidence of previous occupation. Alternatively, Garu leaves spiritual evidence of their presence, and though you don't know any Garu rites to sniff out occult energy, you might be able to rely on your spiritual awareness and attunement to find something interesting. Ooh. Ernesto is a pro. Sierra is 18 and got the best first apartment. Am I supposed to be 18? Rough. Rough. And I mean that both as a pun and the word rough. Garu Theurgers would have veiled their territory to prevent discovery, but I'm sensitive enough to feel out what's left of their power and follow it to its source. Let's be blindly confident in our abilities again. That's always works out for us. Boom. You're no expert on Garu rites, but you know how power can linger. You also know what enchantment feels like, having spent so much time around Black Tarn and working in her garden. You relace your police boots and hitchhike up to the Veterans Hospital. From there, you head into the woods. Civilization disappears in less than 5 minutes. You can't even smell car exhaust. Squirrels leap from branch to branch. Crows and hawks cry overhead. The land is hilly and rough, the trees crooked. You close your eyes. Old death. Something terrible happened here. Wounded spirits linger in this place. You follow your intuition, pushing through snow and sliding down hills, trying to remain open and sensitive. As you walk, the air seems to get more solid. You look around, there's no wind, but there's a sense of resistance ahead. Ah, you get it. Old magic, no longer maintained but still powerful. Magic of veiling and warding, created to encourage you to keep walking and not pay too much attention. This is it. Boom. Boom. Nothing bad ever happened as a direct consequence of hubris. No. Literally that's what I'm saying, Bardic. That's Sierra's, raison d'etre, honestly. You ignore the subtle hints to turn away. When a half-hidden trail almost cries out, "Follow me," you instead climb up a low slope. And then you smell it, the faint, close reek of death. You follow the smell to an abandoned ATV half buried in a snowdrift. A leather glove lies nearby, its back covered in a design you don't recognize. Some kind of crowned dragon in the sun? Almost certainly not Garu. When you turn it over, you realize there's still a hand on it. You hastily back away. Looking around, you find a stick, kick some snow off it, and use that to turn it over and conduct a quick search. Nearby, a .38 revolver, rusted beyond the hope of repair, a bronze sword so thick with verdigris that it looks like moss, and a wallet. The wallet has $7. 2 gas cards and a card from Bannicky Gunworks right here in Northampton, Massachusetts. That might be worth checking out. The wallet also has a Forbes library card with names. Harmony Pallies. You suspect Elton will want to know about this. This battle happened at least a few years ago, but you're still able to follow the signs of fighting to the edge of a swamp, where a terrible battle raged. There isn't much of value, though. You find bullet casings, broken blades, a Red Sox hat. There's probably more under the snow or lost in the cold water. The most interesting find is a saddle that looks exactly like the one the Bane wore. Ah! It's burned and blackened, but when you turn it over, you can read J.L. Heaney Maker, Hadley, Massachusetts. You've seen Hadley on maps. It's just a few miles away. You're going to need to investigate this J.L. Heaney. You head downslope and find yourself standing over a half-frozen bog, a maze of tiny islands and hillocks surrounded by gelid black water. A badly defaced standing stone rises crookedly out of the mud. The air is warm with rot. Flies rise up from the muck to seek your eyes and nostrils. Blech. That place is important, you're sure of it. But how? Maybe more investigation will offer answers. You turn away from the marsh and head back into the woods. The sun has set and it's bitterly cold and windy by the time you reach the Veterans Hospital. You warm up in the garden center before the bus comes. Your cabin is near a little airfield and you can hear the prop planes landing late into the night. Who the hell is flying 20th century planes this late? But it's so warm and comfortable in your sparsely furnished cabin that you just let them lull you to sleep. Aww. That's cute. I have 7 of the human dollars and a Red Sox hat. I mean, who wouldn't want a Sox hat? What the hell is a crowned dragon on a sun? Someone's Game of Thrones paraphernalia? Yep, totally. What I thought of originally was my original thought is if you look at the symbol, the Dark Ages symbol for the Semitsi, I think, sort of looks like that. That was the first thing that popped in my head, but vampire lives in my brain rent-free 24 hours a day. Day 3 of gainful employment, suicide attempt in the mental health ward. That's not technically your business, but it puts all the doctors and psychiatrists in a bad mood, and they take it out on you and Ernesto. You keep your head down and your mop in motion. Your injuries have completely healed. Woohoo! I go to Bannacky Gunworks because we heard about that place back when we were still in freaking Buffalo, so let's go there already. Bannacky Gunworks is or was nestled into the woods west of the town center. That's an hour's walk along Route 66. But since the day isn't too cold, you elect to range through fields and farmland. That will let you avoid casual observation while gaining greater familiarity with the area. You don't see any more Garu glyphs or other signs that you've left the map, but as you trundle through the woods, you suddenly come upon a chain-link fence. Troubling. You circle around the fence to the north, cutting through muddy fields until you're back under tree cover and then return to the road. The gun store is a low concrete bunker that might have started life as an auto garage. It's closed, locked down, and shuttered. A few minutes spent exploring the cold mud and cracked asphalt around the store reveal only broken, rusted tools and a few shell casings. You can see a few ways inside. The combination lock is of excellent quality and even your skills won't let you open it, but the chain it's attached to looks rusted. You might be able to bash it open, or you could, try propping open the garage door or wiggling through a window. The main problem is road traffic. You've kept out of sight so far, but a driver might notice you screwed up. around. Quick, screwing around. Oops, sorry, but that's so funny. Kyle is a good writer. The intact lock means someone watches this place and you don't want someone calling the cops. Is someone screwing around over here? Dead. Ooh. You might not be wrong. I mean, I'm usually wrong, so I'm not expecting to be right. I'll be pleasantly surprised if I'm right. I changed to my lupus form. It'll be easier to wiggle through the window if I'm a little wolfy poo. I love being a little wolfy poo. Hiding from the road traffic on the far side of the concrete building, you strip, bundle everything into your shell jacket, and leave it next to the garage door. One of the windows is already cleanly broken, but it faces the road, so you'll have to move fast. It's less cold than your first day here, and your feet are sinking into the cold mud, so you hurriedly climb onto the roof. Then you lie down and transform. An agonizing moment of dislocation as your veins and capillaries expand and rewire themselves around a quadrupedal body plan. It's the pelvis, that's where it always gets tricky, but your blood starts flowing the right way again and your tongue lolls as you rise on all fours. Love that description. Gonna make notes on that description. From the roof, you slither like Gaia's deadliest weasel. There's my name! Gaia's deadliest weasel! Oh, it's a short drop down to the concrete floor of the gun shop. You're not going to be able to do much as a wolf, so you slowly regain your Hamid form and rise, steam rising from your skin. Then you cross to the rolling garage door and open it just enough to retrieve your gear. You put your clothes back on and stamp your feet in the frozen cold storage room. Guy's deadliest weasel. Yeah, I mean, how I picture shapeshifting is really like almost like existence is pain, but I like the way Kyle does it even better. Kyra gives her most punishing jobs to her deadliest weasels. That's the only deed name I want. I will accept no others. Oh, God. The steamed up windows let in enough midday sun to reveal the gun store's empty metal shelves and wooden counters. You weren't really hoping to find an arsenal here, but this place looks stripped bare. And from the jewel pods... That's a vape pod, right? I don't know anything about vaping. And condoms on the floor, you weren't the first person to go exploring. The store isn't big, and it takes you less than 15 minutes to sweep the showroom, the garage, storage room, and the back office. Your haul, 3 losing scratch tickets from 2017, a few damp pages from American Handgunner magazine, and a key that unlocks the office desk, which is empty. At first, you think the metal desk is bolted to the wall, but when you try and pull the key back out of the drawer, the desk slides with a hideous shriek across the concrete floor. And a field notes notebook plops onto the ground to land in a puddle of icy water. You pick it up even as the water soaks into the pages, making the ink run and open to a random page. What we had to do. I will not call him a traitor, as he acted out of love for his art and for the 3 families who guarded this land long before your birth, and who will guard it long after you're dead. The man you call Mr. Heaney was more than my friend. He was a poet with leather and flesh. That you should come to regard. Oh my. Absolutely, Kid Icarus. Absolutely. Deadly Weasel isn't actually a bad job description for a ragabash. That's what I'm saying! That's my deed name. I will accept nothing less. A section already hopelessly illegible, then. Defense of Broadbrook. I've done what I can, but what can any of us do now? You and Linus should have acted years ago. Okay, Linus was Daphne's ex-husband, the Silverfang. The next page is a handwritten, unfinished map of the Broadbrook area with lines of defense sketched hastily around the periphery. It reminds you of last stands you saw in high school history textbooks. The page after that is written in black pen, not blue. It looks like some kind of glyph or doodle. Jagged, labyrinthian lines cover most of the page, but then you suddenly realize what you're looking at. One humped shape is a standing stone. It is, in fact, the standing stone you remember seeing at Broadbrook, and that arch is the large hillock. It's a map, and those jagged black lines reveal every patch of mud and water. You could use this. But then you think back to the marshlands of Broadbrook, hundreds of acres of freezing black water and tangled trees. What good is a map without a destination? You're sure that there's something out there in the wetlands, perhaps even the source of the Bane, but wandering around out there won't get you anywhere, even with a map. You need a specific destination. But once you have it, this map will be vital. And wait, what was that about calling someone a traitor? You flip back to the other remaining legible passage about Heaney. A poet with leather and flesh. That's too interesting to ignore. You see some Google searches in your future. You go to sleep. Some kind of state inspection. You watch Mr. Weiss hand over an envelope. All they do is show up, collect envelopes full of money, and ignore any problems. Charlie, the orderly, dragoons you into watching some of the more violent patients during these delicate negotiations, so you have to stay an hour late to help Ernesto staple down some new carpeting. Don't Google. I know! That's why I laughed. And some Google searches in my future. And also, I'll look into Mr. Heaney. Oh, let's look at Daphne as well. I researched Daphne Clear in GRC Media. Just turning your thoughts to Daphne Clear makes you feel as if you're being watched. The Shadow Lord? Oh no, I hope... I hope Elton isn't watching me, or something worse. Though your former packmates feared the Shadow Lords, Elton was helpful, especially about Daphne Clear, but you want to form your own opinion. After reading the brochures you took from GRC Media, you see several avenues of investigation. Internet research might reveal more about Miss Clear's operations in town, though you doubt passive research will tell you what you need. You'd have to get online and talk to people, and you'd have to be clever not to draw attention. Well, one thing that Sierra is good at is talking to people. But maybe it's smarter to go low-tech against a glasswalker. Archival research at the library might yield physical records, though that'll take patience. Or you could hit the streets and investigate. A cool and friendly attitude, that's me. Gaius Deadly Weasel, cool and friendly, will encourage people to talk, and then here's the trick, stop talking once you're gone. I'm gonna go to the library. Please, let me go to the library. Yeah, yeah. Shadow Lords and the Silver Fangs are sort of, yes, you can look at them that way, absolutely. where Silver Fangs are like the quote unquote leaders of the Garu. Shadow Lords look at themselves as sort of the person behind the leader. Sort of working, sort of like the spy master working behind the king, if that is a better analogy. Let's go to the library, please. I don't think I can take any more awkwardness from Sierra at the moment. Glasswalkers can erase digital records, but console jockeys have a bad habit of ignoring printouts and analog photographs. Increasingly, libraries don't even bother with physical record keeping as it takes up space they don't have and requires expert maintenance, which costs money. But this actually helps. Forbes Library has an entire storage room devoted to recent newspapers and magazines that they desperately need to scan or trash. Disorganized and neglected, the room contains physical newspapers as well as tech, media, and environmentalist magazines that may tell you more about GRC media. You'll learn basic details from archived magazines. Daphne Clear is in her mid-40s and got a computer science degree from the Georgia Institute of Technology. Previous work in publishing, environmental research, comms, from newspaper records, married to a Linus Harroman, who was in that journal, by the way, Healy's journal, then separated. Harroman died 3 years ago. He obviously died at the cairn at Broadbrook. That mysterious death piques your interest. You've been reading for so long that you're starting to lose focus. So instead you let your gaze wander as you flip through physical records, looking at pictures and diagrams, waiting for something to catch your eye. And then it does. You stare at the picture attached to an article from the Daily Hampshire Gazette, the local newspaper. Fight over development deal turns violent. Ooh! The text of the article, including the byline, has been replaced with a completely different article from the Carter administration. An impressive hack since this is a physical newspaper, but the picture is labeled Linus Harriman 46, Elton Day 19, and Catherine Aslanian 20 have opposed the Broadbrook expansion, which would... Ooh, who's Catherine? I'm losing my voice, so I'm starting to... Whenever I lose my voice, I start hiccuping a lot, so don't mind that. Then it turns into more randomized babble. The photo is in color. The newspaper may be 5 or 10 years old. Linus, a middle-aged white man in a faded leather jacket and torn jeans. Elton, a young black man in a long black coat. Catherine, blonde and Hollywood pretty, with big cornflower blue eyes and a long blue dress. Local woodlands behind the trio, but something is off. That hill, for example, looks like a barrow. This is good. This is what you need. Yeah, baby. Both are edgelord factions, yeah. Shadow Lords, Silver Fangs. I love it, though. I love them, though. Absolutely love it. Yes, Bonars, you can't really do one-to-one comparisons with them, but closest would be Bonars, yeah, sure. Well, no, because Glasswalkers also do tech stuff and a lot of information stuff, which also Nosferatu. So I think you'd have to kind of combine Bone Gnars and Glasswalkers together, and that would give you Nosferatu, would be my opinion on that. But again, you can't really do the one-to-one comparisons. So you've confirmed that Elton has been here for a while, and you remember a previous mention of Catherine's last name, Aslanian. You flip back and find another gibberish article that contains only the phrase, Aslanian purchased the Main Street apartment that was formerly the site of the words, and everything else is randomized fill from, you think, a Dickens novel? There's a picture of Elton's apartment. You go to sleep. Boom. Laying down more carpet for most of the morning, but when it gets quiet, you have a few hours to watch YouTube videos about basic maintenance while Ernesto watches soccer highlights. Let's research Heaney. Ba-boom. Let's research leather and flesh. It's a slow morning at work. A poet with leather and flesh. That's what the water-damaged field notes say. You walk back to Forbes Library and try various combinations of Heaney, leather, flesh, poet, Northampton, Broadbrook, and so on. It doesn't take you long to find the man, Jasper Lee Heaney, a saddle maker and leather worker formerly of Hadley, Massachusetts. Checking the map, his old address is less than a half-hour drive east of here, over the Connecticut River. A few equestrian websites mention him, and his name also appears on Leather Daddy forums. Old posts from the mid-2000s praise his skill and professionalism at constructing fetish wear. Online news articles indicate that Jasper Heaney died 4 years ago and that his house burned down last year, but details are scarce. You might have to cross the river to Hadley to learn more. You go to sleep. 1 full week at Gorski Manor. When do you get paid? You spend all morning pushing the ancient snowblower around the grounds and forget to ask. I go to Hadley and investigate Leather Daddy. No buses run to that part of Hadley. In fact, your destination is so deep in the woods that you're not even sure you can hitchhike up there. And it's all the way across the Connecticut River. Too far to walk, but when you mention your frustrations to a groundskeeper you've seen before at the park bus stop, he mentions that Smith College students have been visiting Hadley to conduct genealogical research. You run for the college. Then spot a van just about to roll into Elm Street traffic. You flag it down and confirm its destination. 7 students and the driver glare at you like a beggar just wandered into their solarium and flopped down onto the fainting couch, but no one says anything. Why is everyone so uppity here? Is this because this is like, you know, like upper middle class or whatever? God. The shuttle takes the bridge across the Connecticut River and turns north, heading through frozen fields and past a restaurant. It stops outside a dilapidated, whitewashed wooden building in the Federal style, apparently condemned. Nothing remains of the baseball field next door except a twisted fence beside overflowing dumpsters. The students make for a postcard-perfect New England church up the street. According to your maps, J.L. Heaney's workshop is less than a mile away. And indeed, after 10 minutes of walking, you pass a mid-century truck half buried in snow, and then find yourself in front of a blackened ruin, a house burned down to its foundations. Someone needs to update their maps. You examine the house, but nothing remains except a few scorched bricks where a chimney once stood, but there's an old wooden barn nearby. You're just considering where to explore when something moves in the tree line on the far side of an empty field. Maybe something has followed your shuttle across the river. Or maybe a local is getting ready to dome you with his grandfather's rifle if you take one step onto his property. Ignore it. I focus on the investigation. I got stuff to do. If I get shot, I get shot. I don't have time for this. I gotta be back at work the next day. Stop. So bad. I think it's just... yeah, I know. Maybe like they're nice to like any transient people that come in there, they're like super friendly and nice and helpful. And then they see me and they're like, ew. That's just me. Ignoring the unseen presence at the edge of the woods, you step into the unpleasantly warm darkness of the barn. It smells like rotten hay and freezing water drips from the rafters. You search meticulously, turning over boards for the better part of an hour, checking the tree line every few minutes. Nothing, not even footprints. This barn doesn't look like it was ever a workshop. That must have burned. Nonetheless, you climb a rickety ladder up into the cold, slimy filth of the rafters. It's dark enough inside that you need to flick on your lighter. That doesn't seem wise. You drag a soggy... Well, I guess everything's wet, so it's fine. Soggy hay bale away from a window, letting pale sunlight in. You resume your search until you spot a wet gleam. You reach out, hands clumsy in your gloves, per usual, as always, and pull something white and sharp out of wood so soft it's the consistency of cornbread. A photo, badly stained, but you can still make out 2 smiling, sunburned white men in each other's arms. Judging from their physiques and hairlines, they're probably in their mid-20s, but their full beards make them look older. The back says P-Town 92. Another step and your boot cracks through a board. You stuff the photo in your shell jacket, drop back down onto the ground, and scan the tree line again. Nothing out there, but the midday sky is dark, almost black. A storm is coming. I hope it's Storm Cat. I'm trying to get to the end of this chapter because I'm losing my voice. I don't know how much farther away I am from the end of the chapter. This chapter seems to be going on very long. Can anyone tell me like if it will save me here or if it will only save me chapter by chapter? Because I actually don't remember. If anyone has that information for me, I'd really appreciate it. I will keep reading though while I wait for that information. You think back to the buildings that might provide both shelter and information. You don't want those smithies at the church asking questions about you, but you could conduct research at the town offices or ask around at that restaurant the shuttle passed. Even if you don't learn anything, it's better than being caught out in the open when the storm breaks or enduring the wet, stinking warmth of the barn. Though maybe you could stay. Something is definitely out there. You could hide in that old truck within sight of the barn and see what comes out of the woods. Yeah, you can close at any time and it will save your progress. That's great. I will in 1 second, because there is an option here for me to sleep in a truck and do a stakeout for whatever's in the woods. And that seems like the stupidest thing I could do by myself. So I will. Let's do it. The truck is a rusted heap with wooden seats and a missing windshield, but it gives you a good view of the woods and the entire surrounding farm, and the coming darkness will hide you completely. There's an old but newer than the truck gray tarp in the back. A bit of skill in hiding and skulking would let you position the tarp so it doesn't draw attention while keeping the precipitation off and letting you see out. I am smart. The main problem is the cold. You'd have to be tough as old wood to sit through the cold drizzle long enough for something to appear, even with the tarp in place. The clouds darken and the wind gusts. You smell something on the air. It's out there, whatever it is. Time for a stakeout. Come on. I'm gonna freeze to death. That's how Gaia's deadliest weasel goes out. Is freezing to death. Time for his stakeout. I tug that tarp over what's left of the truck so I can hide and curl up against the cold and wait. Don't worry, guys. Sierra's got it. Oh no. Okay. And I'm gonna stop right here because obviously something happens and I find someone terrible. So if it does actually save me here, we'll see how my stakeout goes, if I've injured myself or not. But thank you so much for joining me. I will be back. Oh god, my voice is breaking so bad. I'm so sorry. I will be back on Thursday to play more of this, and hopefully I will get even farther. I'm trying to do a 90 minutes, and I did go over 90 minutes. But I'm having great fun playing the adventures of Sierra, Gaia's deadliest weasel, and coolest werewolf in town. And thank you so much for coming along with the journey and for encouraging me to make the bad decisions. I always really appreciate that. Yeah, and these will also be going up on YouTube. I'll be pulling all these down on Monday and putting them up on YouTube as well. So yeah, I hope I'll see you again next Thursday. And thank you, everybody. Have a nice weekend.
You